Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Daily Update, my 1000 Day Challenge. This is day around 13, so let's get things started. Alright, so first and foremost, across the board, US market does seem to show some signs of life or potential reversal in that sense. On the weekly chart, we see a very nice green bullish candlestick for both S&P 500 and also Nasdaq itself. So I did mention that on the daily chart yesterday itself, we wanted to close above 20 exponential moving average, and it seems that we have done so for both the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. So this is a very good first sign that we do want to see. And over, if you look in terms of weekly chart, that also coincides with the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart for Nasdaq and also for the S&P 500 itself. We bounced off nicely off from here and we closed below and then we quickly bounced up from it. So this is a very good clear sign of strength. In addition to that, we also see a nice bullish divergence over here, whereby we have a reduce in terms of the momentum itself. And then over here, the potential crossover could potentially also be higher, but we do want to see that crossover for added confirmation. But the very first set of confirmation is definitely one. The second thing that we do want to see is a continuation of momentum itself, which means this upcoming week on the Monday itself, when market does open, we want it to open higher than what it is over here. So that will potentially also give you a very nice sense of a sign of strength in that sense. On the other hand, for the US China equity market itself, it's definitely still leaning bearish momentum. We have two green bullish candlesticks on the weekly chart, but we fail to see the continuation momentum itself. In fact, we actually just have a red bearish engulfing candlestick. So in terms of where we could potentially head to, I would say the 2560 region would potentially be a zone that I'll be keen to look into it. And if you look in terms of KWEB itself, definitely on the downside, we'll be looking towards the $16 or $17 region itself. Not to say that will definitely be hit, but right now it's an uncharted territory for both ASH and KWEB. So a lot of things is up for grab in that sense. So I would say particularly for KWEB, ASH is still not in uncharted territory yet, but let's see how things goes. All right, and then finally for Bitcoin itself, on the weekly chart, we potentially could be closing in a very insignificant kind of candlestick, a clear consolidation pattern. In fact, for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially the 5 week itself, we're actually relatively flat. So what I would actually prefer to see actually a very swift move downside. You can even touch the 16K bar and then a very swift move up close. So this kind of a very bullish kind of a hammer stick confirmation will be a very clear first sign of strength. But right now it doesn't seem like we're forming that way. That's not to say that we cannot just break above and show signs of strength as well. But if we do form this kind of a downside itself, we could potentially be facing a very strong break, but it doesn't seem like we're happening this week itself. So in line with what we see in the S&P 500 Nasdaq, if we're not breaking this week, then this downslope trend line would not mean anything to me. Because generally, when we do have this downslope trend line, we want a confirmation when there's a breakout together with both volume and price action itself, but we are seeing neither happening. So until that takes place, so unless the weekend itself we have a sudden spike of volume in either direction itself, then that could perhaps spark a much more clear kind of confirmation as to which direction we will potentially go. All right, so yeah, with that said, otherwise, I don't see any potential setup in terms of daily and forward chart. Like I mentioned, clearly choppy right now. You could potentially enter a breakout trade, in my opinion, simply because right now things does look to be relatively flat. If you do break below this 18.4K region itself, I could potentially put a stop loss right above this high region itself. But bear in mind that the very first target would potentially be just around here, which will be a 1:1 risk to reward. So you could potentially take like 50% or even 25% of the position and then move the stop loss to break even. So that could be a potential trade that you could be looking at. Yeah, but for me, I'm a little bit adverse in this kind of trade simply because right now it's just on the weekend. If it's on the weekday itself, potentially I'll still put this trade setup. So that's something for me itself. All right, otherwise that's more or less about it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below, or I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.